Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of CAE Sports. We are incredibly late on this video, but with that being said, we're bringing it to you nonetheless. Appreciate all the support you guys have given us over the last couple months while Chris and I figure out our lives. We will get back to a more standard schedule that you are sort of used to in the upcoming months. With that being said, I'm one of your hosts, Spencer. With me is Chris, and we got a lot of news to talk about. Obviously, Champs is going on as we speak. The Toronto Ultra play tomorrow, Friday at 3 p.m. The Toronto Defiant came off a massive week where they went 3-1, including a massive victory over the Washington Justice that nobody saw coming, 3-0. They then go and they play the Atlanta Reign.
I kind of saw it coming.
But they played the Atlanta Reign, and they actually looked somewhat decent, although to be fair, Atlanta Reign didn't have Pelican. I felt like people were overreacting to this, but also underreacting. It was a banana weekend, but it was the best Defiance looked all year long, and it sets themselves up perfectly for the next playoff play-in that we're about to see for the final performance there. Can they make it to that top 5 NA to move on to the next round and go to the final LAN performance? We're about to find out all of this and more on the next episode of CAE Sports. I'm one of your hosts, Spencer. With me is Chris, and let's just jump right into things.
Let's jump right into things. It feels like you're talking 100 miles a minute, and slow it down.
We can slow it down. That was an intro.
I think let's start with Call of Duty. Yeah, let's start with Call of Duty because honestly, that's more exciting right now.
Yeah, it's Champs.
It's Champs, and you know what? We got a couple of fucking interesting scenarios to play through here. We are facing Empire in the winners.
So I was going to say, for people who don't know, the Empire went through Minnesota 3-0. This is going to be a very tough decision. I think it was, first and foremost, obviously, we talked about this on last episode, but it's incredibly impressive that Toronto was able to secure that second seed because I think it set themselves up incredibly well. The fact that they didn't have to play, like you look at those next 4 names, right? Optic, New York, Minnesota, Dallas, like those are 4 tough teams to play in that first round. So the fact that we were able to get a bye through one of those is incredibly, incredibly beneficial, I think, for Toronto going long term. Obviously, if the regular season and what we've seen in the past is any indication, I do think Toronto should be favored in this. There are a few different X factors, obviously one of which being Champs Dallas, right? Like Dallas just seems to be able to figure it out when it matters the most. Crim6, one of the biggest vets in the game, when it matters the most on land, if they were ever going to like ride this performance out, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. On top of the fact that the last time we saw Toronto Ultra play, they were up 4-0 in the finals versus Minnesota, looking like one of the best teams in the league, and they absolutely collapsed and lost that and kind of choked that. So this is going to be the first game they've played since that moment, right? It's not like a stage where you have the group stages to regain your confidence. I don't think Toronto's the kind of team to crumble. I don't. Like, my prediction is you're going to see Ultra, and they might lose to Dallas because Dallas is really good, but it's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
That's my prediction, but I can't not even consider the fact that a loss like that versus Minnesota against a somewhat inexperienced team in relation to some of those other teams, right? We don't have a Crim6 on our team. We don't have a Scump, a Formal, a Clayster. It's possible that loss is still looming in the back of their heads, especially since this is the first game they're going to play since that loss. So I think it's going to tell us a lot. I expect it to be a good match. I expect it to be a 5-round series personally. I think both teams are incredibly talented. I think Ultra's going to come out on top because of what we've seen all year long, but it's going to be a bloodbath.
Honestly, and I think Empire is a similar team as it was last year. The team that, to be honest, was kind of second almost to FaZe last year, I'd say during regular season as well, but really pulled it out in the end, came in strong, and played really, really well. Yeah. I think we're going to see lots of that, so I think I'll just have to play at the very top tier, and I'm really hoping that this game that they really lost hard at was more of a learning experience than a breaking experience. Hopefully their souls didn't get broken by that.
And then I guess we might as well talk about sorry, I cut you off. I was just going to say, we might as well talk about the predictions because, we don't have to give a full breakdown, but if Ultra does win, they go to play, assuming FaZe, what is Ultra's ceiling at this Champs here? Like how good? Obviously, I think it would be disrespectful to say that we aren't in the contention to win the entire thing, but what is a realistic expectation here for Toronto Ultra?
I say I would be disappointed if we make it to elimination finals. I think very genuinely, the only teams that I think are genuinely debated, you could debate that they're better than Ultra are Empire and FaZe. So I think...
Yeah.
I feel like you disagree with me.
No, I don't fully disagree. I think if they get double bounced, I'd be disappointed. I do think if they go out in elimination finals, or realistically elimination round 3, because I believe elimination round 3 would be your 4th place. If they finish 4th, is that math correct? Yeah, I think they'd be 4th. Fourth isn't horrible. Like, you're right. I do agree that the only team that they should lose to is either Dallas or FaZe. But honestly, like, Optic and New York, man, people kind of forget about New York. And it's not just because they just beat Optic. This was sort of my point, is how we recorded this when we should have recorded it. We haven't seen this New York team perform since their Stage 3 performance on LAN. Right? They were incredible Stage 3 on LAN. Stage 4 happened. There was some stuff behind the scenes. Asim couldn't get his visa right. He couldn't perform. They brought somebody in last second. It wasn't that true team's representation. They looked a little off in Stage 4. Stage 5, Clayster sat out. They brought in Diamond Con. It just wasn't the same, right? Like, now you're seeing the team that New York was in Stage 3 when they went to the finals. This is the first time you're seeing that on LAN. Like, New York could absolutely be a dark horse team, if you want to call them that.
You're right.
So if Toronto does lose to like a New York in a 3-2 fashion, or Optic in a 3-2 fashion, in that, best of 4 to get that 4th place finish, it wouldn't be something that I would expect, and I wouldn't be like happy with that, because I don't think they're better than that. But that would be the moment where I'm like, okay, you know what? It is what it is, right? Like, great season. A 4th place finish at Champs would be an incredible season for a team that had no marquee name outside of, I guess, Methods, but obviously, we've beaten that horse to a fucking pulp, right? So, that would be an incredible season. I do think that the ceiling is obviously to win it. I would not predict that. I think FaZe should be the favorite. They are the favorite. Everybody should be predicting FaZe. And I do think that you might be right, where their most likely scenario is getting that 3rd place finish and maybe losing out to a Dallas Empire, because Dallas on LAN is going to be a different beast, and it's scary.
Yeah, exactly. It really is. You know what? Maybe you're making a little bit more sense right now, too. I forgot New York knocked us out to get to...
No, I think you're right, though. Like, elimination, 3rd place. I think a lot of people in Toronto... That's the expectation.
Third elimination round 3.
3rd, 4th.
I would be 4th place. I'd be a little bit disappointed. I wouldn't be like, oh, this terrible show. I'd be a little bit disappointed. Elimination, finals, 3rd place. I'd be content.
Yeah, that'd be a good play. Honestly, 3rd place. If you look back in the league, where people had Toronto at the beginning of the year, a 3rd place finish would be incredible. Honestly, a 4th place finish would be incredible. I just don't want us to get double bounced. I think we're too good of a team to get knocked out by Dallas Empire, then lose to like either Minnesota or 100 Thieves. Or, I mean, I guess there's a situation where I'm not sure how the seeding actually works. If we lose versus Dallas, will we potentially play Optic? Who knows? But getting double bounced would be unfortunate.
It also matters how we lose too. Like, if we're losing in elimination round 3 and it's
like 3-2,
3-2, another reverse sweep, and we just we just do well and then we throw it again, that will be a little more disappointing.
No, I agree.
It's hard to say.
So with that out of the way, if you're a Toronto Ultra fan, big weekend for you guys. They have a serious shot to win this entire thing and to win champs. I still think beating FaZe is going to be an uphill battle, and I still think Dallas is their toughest test. But I would not be surprised if a team like New York or even Optic were able to harness that LAN champs energy, and Clayster wins, right? That's what Clayster's known for. He always say, "Hey, don't talk to me in Stage 1, talk to me at champs." He's got 3 rings. Hydra's one of the best rookies in the game. Asim, I think, fits alongside him perfectly, and same with Max. So that's a dangerous team.
Insight is the best rookie in the league.
Inside Hydra, right? So I'm pumped. CleanX on LAN can do a lot of really cool things. We've seen that in the past as well. His champs performance in Black Ops 4 was legendary. Let's see what Toronto Ultra can do.
Where's this again? Where's this in San Fran?
I think it's California.
I was gonna say if it was in Dallas, that'd be a big pain, because it's pretty much home crowd advantage.
Yeah, definitely home crowd advantage.
But I think
Thieves.
California is relatively neutral.
If the Thieves are going to run, you'll know why.
Yeah, you'll know why. But I think we'll probably see more Optic fans there.
Okay.
There.
Anything else you want to add before we move on to Overwatch?
Now let's get over to the Overwatch. Best news we've had all year, baby.
Yeah, I guess so. So, Toronto Defiant goes on a bit of a run. A bit of a run here.
Let's say tear.
And listen, it's kind of, I don't fully know how I truly feel about it. I do think that some people were maybe overestimating this run just a tad bit. I still thought we looked shaky at points. I still would have liked us to have beaten Paris more convincingly than the 2 wins that we had over them, i.e. very, very close map 5, round 3 victories, right? I still think, I know Paris has been performing well. I still think on paper we're a better team. I do think this was the most coordinated we looked all year, but there were still multiple instances of us wasting ultimates, multiple instances of individuals, I think, over positioning themselves and getting picked off. I still think the team coordination at moments looked lost, especially when Aspire wasn't in, man. And that goes back to what we've been harping all year long. This team definitely looks best when it's Hisu and Aspire. And the problem is they run nice in a lot of different situations. Obviously, he is that projectile DPS player. And I think when you have Nice and you just have too many people who almost like play solo. Like the amount of times where I'll see like Nice just go on and dive and Lasho's front lining and Sato's in their back line and Hisu's taking a big flank and it's just like Unsanjay and Michelle running around trying to peel for 4 different people. It looks too chaotic, and I think that's just been exposed all year long. I think when Aspire is in there, it adds a little bit more structure to it because he can play that more supportive DPS role while simultaneously still popping off. And I definitely like his traits are better than Nice. But obviously with Echo coming out of the hero pools, that might become the meta. And I think that's the case. You definitely will see Nice. So listen, it was a great performance. They got, they beat London, which, okay, they should have. They beat Paris twice, which I think they should have. In fact, I think they should have beat them more than they actually did. And obviously that win versus Washington Justice, which is the only Toronto Defiant game in the last 3 years I haven't watched, was a 3-0. So maybe if I had actually seen that game, I'd be a little bit more optimistic, to be honest. And I'm sorry that I haven't. But then we played Atlanta without Pelican, right? Like, and yeah, we looked good versus Atlanta, but like, that is something to
Pelican,
say.
And also,
they have their best player.
Let's not pretend that Hisu literally carried the entire team.
Hisu was like, you had Hisu in prime. You had Hisu looking the best he's looked all year long, like one of the best TPSs in the game. You had an Atlanta ranked team that was missing their best player, and you still lost 3-1, and some maps weren't even close. And some maps were, to be fair. Like, they definitely put up a good fight, and I think when I had seen that Atlanta rain on paper, I was like, okay, if we're going to lose, I want it to at least be compelling, and it was. Right? It's not like Atlanta rain came in there and steamrolled us 3-0. I'd be way more rattled. Like, Toronto Defiant did look good. And if anything, that's a confidence builder that they can take into this next plan for North America to see if they can get that top 5 spot. Because Toronto has moments of brilliance. They have moments where everything is working together, and you can see like individuals like 1v4. Like, the talent has been there all year long, and it's just been so disappointing and heartbreaking that they can't consistently pull it together. I hope Aspire's grinding his Echo, because I really think that this team looks their best with Hisu and Aspire in. I think their record versus Paris with Aspire in is like 6-1, and they're like 0-5, I think, with Nice. I actually don't think they've won a map with Nice in versus Paris. Again, I should have looked at what the Washington series was, because maybe Nice carried them through that. And if that's the case, I do apologize. If somebody's watching this, it's the one game I missed in 3 years. Shit happens. But listen, it was a great weekend for Toronto Defiant. It was the best weekend we've seen all year long, no doubt about it. But
yeah,
I still have to be a little bit cautious, where I'm like, guys, let's roll back a little bit, right? Not Atlanta with Pelican. Still didn't get the win. Didn't go to Hawaii. I saw, I think, one of our, I believe Mac like commented on one of our other videos. He was like, hey, this kind of reminds me of Stage 1. And he might be right. So hopefully we're wrong here, and hopefully Toronto takes this momentum and just absolutely slaps that play in.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% confident in that.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I think that's it there. It's really important to note, I think, that Toronto's also a team that has really high highs and really low lows. They don't seem to play that. They play like the position they're in, which is a mid-table team.
Yeah. I think you mentioned that, right? You're like, they're a mid-table team, but they're either slapping or they're throwing. Like, they're never just like making it close. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they've seen them throwing a little more than slapping, except for this weekend, which seems like they're slapping a little bit more than throwing. So I think that's the best way to characterize this team.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, if you like our videos, please give us a like and subscribe. I know that 99.9% of you who watch this video, which is probably about 10 people, don't subscribe, so please subscribe if you do. And if you disagree with us, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, and as always, guys, thank you for watching, and enjoy.